Hi everyone, Danielle here. I'm doing an overview of Ash's Ascendancy. This is going to be a solo overview using Issa Brightmore's pre-constructed deck against the Dragonborn that comes with the starter sets. So taking a look at the Phoenixborn, we have Phoenixborn of Emeridia, battlefield 5, which means we can only have maximum 5 cards in the battlefield, um, 18 health, and then spellboard 5, which means we have 5 cards in the spellboard. Well, 5 cards wide in the spellboard. We could put the same spells on top of each other so that it wouldn't count towards that 5. And then it does have a side action here. A side action is um, that icon. It's kind of like a star almost. And then that means exhaust. So we had to place an exhaust token on this to do the effect. And then also spending a die with that face value or higher. It says draw 2 cards. Place an artifice die from your exhausted pool onto a card you control. So that is kind of a huge part of how to play with this Phoenixborn. You need to be able to charge some of the cards to give it its full potential. And the Artifice Magic reference card is right here. So we have the basic, the class, and the power die. So as you can see, the higher levels could be used as the lower level die. It does have a dice power effect. Again, this icon for side action means we could use this side action plus a power die, placing this die on a card you control. A card with an artifice die on it is considered to be charged, once for each artifice die on it. So that's how this magic die will work. We do start with 5 cards in our hand, and these are the suggested ones based on the precon. We have Supercharge, a ready spell. This tells you where it goes, which will be the spell board. This will be a side action and this die to play this card onto the spell board. And then the actual ability on the card itself is a side action. Side action, Exhaust. If this spell is charged, add 2d to the attack value of a target unit for the remainder of the turn. We have another ready spell that is played using a side action. Side action ability, Exhaust. Move an artifice die from a card you control onto another card you control. That's going to be pretty helpful. Summon Thunderhulk. So in this game, you are summoning conjurations to the board at times, and this is one of those spells that allow you to do that. This is a main action to play the card. On a turn, you'll be doing a main action and or a side action. So something to keep in mind is you will always do a main action, and that's the symbol for main action, at least once on a turn unless you plan to pass. A side action, which are some of the actions I mentioned just before, is optional. You don't have to do a side action. So this ready spell requires you to use a main action to do its ability. You would exhaust, spend both of these dice from your dice pool, and then place a Thunderhulk conjuration onto your battlefield. And so we have a lot of cards that we have a lot of cards in the deck that have a white background, and these are cards that belong in your deck. The ones with a black background are actually your conjuration deck, and they sit outside of your main deck just to be pulled in from a game effect, such as the Summon Thunderhulk. So the Thunderhulk is a conjuration that just comes in. So once this comes out, this goes into the battlefield, as it says right here, and it has abilities on it along with how many can be out at a time. So only 2 could be out on your battlefield at a time. Another conjuration that we'll be talking about is Spark Drone as well. This is going to be a unit guard, and this unit may guard a unit that's being attacked, and you can have at most 3 out on your battlefield. All right, so we just talked about the summon Spark Drone or the Spark Drone. This is how you would summon it, similarly using a main action. And then lastly, we have an ally in our hand. An ally goes into the battlefield. This one's Systems Drafter. It takes a main action and that die face to play it. It has an ability and it has a attack, life, and recover value. Okay, so that is kind of our play area. As far as the Dragonborn's play area during setup, you will shuffle together their Blood 1 and Blood 2 cards. But before you do that, you'll separate it and just draw 1 Blood 1. And you can see there's 1 blood drop here, 2 here, 1 here, 2 here. You will alternate starting with 1. And then looking at the threat value on the Dragonborn card, that will tell you how many you need to draw out. So on a solo game, you are going to use this side of the card where it says 30 health. And you'll pay attention to the threat 4 here. So if you're not playing on any other difficulty level, threat 4 is going to be how many cards you put out face down during setup. The rest of the blood 1, blood 2 cards will be shuffled in and put on the spot of the board. We have a behavior card, which will tell us what we need to do on their turn. So it says at the start of the Dragonborn's turn, we have to resolve the Dragonborn status ability. And then it's aspect status abilities from left to right. So a lot of the time when things are being resolved, when there are multiple options, everything is going to be either from left to right or right to left, depending on what the action says. So this will tell us what we need to do after we roll a die. If we roll a die, and it will let us know. They have 5 dice that they will be using throughout the game. Once they roll a die that is not a basic die face is this icon. If it is not a basic die, you will slot them in here. Once all 5 dice are here, a status token is going to be placed on the Dragonborn. And that will matter because the status effect here at the start of the Dragonborn's turn, remove 1 status token from this card if you do deal 1 damage to the opposing player's target. So as long as there's a status token on it, we're going to get hit with the damage. All right, and then lastly here we have the ready spell. We have 3 ready spells to go through. We start at number 1. So during setup, you're putting it 1, 2, 3 on top of each other. And they have an activated ability and also a progress ability that will be completed at the end of each round. So a round of play includes the dragon phase, which we actually skip at the beginning of the entire game, the prepare phase, and then the player turn phase. Basically, it's just us, so we're going to take our main action, possibly a side action, and bring it right back to the Dragonborn's turn. Once we both pass, there's the recovery phase. So after that, we'll go and do the dragon phase and continue until one of us dies. This is the first player marker. It will be facing us at first. And then eventually we will take turns taking the first turn in each round. Okay. So let's do a couple of turns. So on our turn, let's do a main action and a side action, and you could do it in any order. So if it makes sense to do a side action first, you could go ahead and do that. But in this case, I think I'm just gonna add a summon Thunderhulk. It doesn't cost me any dice. Ooh, the first thing we need to do is roll the dice. So let's do that real quick. Just roll dice and see what we get. You do not re-roll anything, unless you want to house roll it, but I typically don't do a re-roll. So we got 2 power dice, and then we got a mix of class dice and basic dice. Okay. All right. So that was basically the prepare phase. So now we'll do our main action, which is playing down the Summon Thunder Hulk onto the spell board. So we'll place that right there. A side action could be to place another one out. And I think I will. I'm going to put out the reconfigure because why not? I could use a side action if I wanted to. And that'll be it. That's my turn. I did a main action and a side action. Now it's Dragonborn's turn. So on Dragonborn's turn, it says resolve the Dragonborn status ability. So looking here, if they have a status token, which is a green token, we will do the ability. They don't, so we'll skip that. Now we'll look and see if we need to roll a basic dragon die. And we will if there are any face down aspects, which of course, beginning the game, there are face down aspects. So we're rolling a die. All right, we have this dragon head. So that dragon head says reveal, attack with revealed aspect if able. So we're revealing left to right. All right, and Aegis feathers. So it says when this unit is destroyed, remove 1 exhaustion token from the leftmost aspect on the battlefield. This is a shield aspect, which means it will help guard a lot of the attacks. And then as far as attacking, it actually doesn't have any attack markers, so it's not going to attack us. The attack markers will be more apparent as we reveal more of the cards here, so just wait to learn more about that. All right, so now it is back to us. So we don't draw up or anything, we just use what we have. I think looking at what I have in my hand, I might just wait to play what's in my hand and actually get something out. So maybe I'll summon the Thunder Hulk. That requires a main action and exhaust. So we'll put one of these blue exhaust tokens on there. a class die, and a basic die to be exhausted. Place a Thunderhulk Conjuration onto your battlefield. So let's look for that. So this is dormant until it is charged. And again, it will be charged when you place a power die on it. That was my main action. So as a side action, I will place a charged die on the Thunderhulk because that's the dice power effect for the Artifice magic. So I'll take this power die, place it onto Thunderhulk, and right now it is considered charged. So I did a main action, which was summoning this Thunderhulk using the Summon Thunderhulk Ready spell. And then as a side action, I used the dice power effect to place a die on Thunderhulk. Now it is Dragonborn's turn. We look at the status abilities. Again, no status tokens here, so we'll skip that. No other status tokens abilities here. Moving on, we will roll a basic die. All right, we rolled the basic die face, so we put it back into the basic die pool. Attack if able and not reveal. So again, we can't attack with Aegis Feathers because it doesn't have any targeting icons. So we're gonna just reveal. And this one has a targeting icon, so that means if it's going to attack, it will attack my leftmost unit. And this is Dragon Rage. It's an aspect. Dragon Rage 1, when this unit is declared as an attacker, place 1 status token on the Dragonborn. Attack 4, life 3, blood 2. So pretty big guy. All right, so that's their turn. This one says attack if able. We're not able to attack. If not, reveal. And then that's it. We just reveal it. Sometimes there's reveal ability, so sometimes it's not as boring as it seems just now. So now it's back to us, a main action and a side action in whatever order we want. I think in this case, because the Thunderhulk is out, I do want to try to take care of the Aegis Feathers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack with Thunderhulk as a main action. So as a main action, you could choose to attack. I'll exhaust the Thunderhulk to do that. I'm going to attack Aegis Feathers. Even if I were to attack Dragon Rage, if I wanted to, Aegis Feathers has a shield. It will guard. So Aegis Feathers will take the damage. I'm attacking with 3, and it's going to deal 1 back to me. I have 1 damage on Thunderhulk. It will counter if it's not exhausted. So I believe that's the case at least. And then this will now end up in the discard pile because my attack is higher than its life. I do have blood 1 listed there, so that means we do put 1 damage on the Dragonborn. So whatever the blood value is of the aspect or whatever the unit that I destroyed is, goes towards the damage on the Dragonborn. All right, so that was my main action. And because I destroyed Aegis Feathers, Overkill 1. After this unit destroys a unit an opponent controls by attacking, do 1 damage to that opponent's target Phoenixborn. So I get to place another damage on the Dragonborn. So I did 2 damage, which is pretty cool. All right, so we could do a side action if we wanted to. So let's look at my hand. Maybe I could just put something down. Yeah, I could put Supercharge down. So this is a ready spell. So it's just kind of ready for me to use. And I do have the necessary die to play it. As you can see, this is the icon that matches. So we're going to put it on the exhausted side of this. And in case you didn't know this reference card kind of has an indicator of where you place your dice. So the active dice pools to the left, the exhausted dice pools to the right. So that's how I keep track of dice I've already used. All right, so just to sum up that turn, my main action was that I attacked with Thunderhulk, which means I had to put an exhaust token on it. I did the attack damage and everything, and as a side action, I played the ready spell, which actually shouldn't be in the battlefield. It should be in the spell board with my other ready spells. Okay, so now it is Dragonborn's turn. They will roll their die. All right, so we have our first crown. Says side action, activate the Dragonborn's ready spell. So activate. The target opposing player must lower 1 non-basic die in their active pool 1 level. So we're just going to lower this class die down to a basic. Not great, but it could be worse. And then it says reveal. So reveal the leftmost face down unit. And it is a radiant flash. When this unit comes into play, the target opposing player must lower 1 power die in their active pool 2 levels. Oh no, we only have 1 power die, so we do that, and now it's a basic die. And it says attack 2, life 1, blood 1. And this icon is one we haven't seen before, but this means it's going to target a Phoenixborn when this attacks. So something to be prepared for. Okay, so that's what they do on their turn. They just reveal, and then it's back to us. So what we're gonna do is probably, yeah, I'm gonna play the Systems Drafter ally. It says rethink when this unit comes into play, and I also have to use a die, so let me exhaust that die. When this unit comes into play, remove one exhaustion token from a ready spell you control. So I'm going to remove it from Summon Thunderhulk, so I could summon another one next turn. And then that's my main action. And as a side action, I'm going to... I think I'll just say no side action this turn. It's the Dragonborn's turn. All right, a basic die. Attack if able, if not, reveal. So it's going to definitely attack with Radiant Flash. Let's exhaust that. Attacking my Phoenixborn for 2. So we're getting 2 damage. 1, 2. I don't have any guard, so I'm not able to do anything about the attack. I'm just taking the damage. Okay, so my turn. So this Systems Drafter has 1 attack, 1 life recover, but I think I'm just going to bring out another Thunderhulk. I will use the main action, exhaust it, spend the die that I need, or the dice that I need, place a Thunderhulk conjuration onto the battlefield. So this is currently dormant, but I do have a side action I want to use to move an Artifice die from a card I control to another card I control. So I'll use Reconfigure. So that requires me to exhaust it as a side action and move this Artifice die over, just like that. And that's my turn. All right, Dragonborn will take their turn. All right, we have this. It says attack if able, if not reveal. So it's going to attack. Wait, why didn't I attack before with Dragon Rage? Okay, well anyway, it's gonna attack now. For some reason I didn't attack with Dragon Rage. It should have been the leftmost unit. So sorry about that. But anyway, when it's declared as an attacker, place 1 status token on the Dragonborn. So we'll do that. And then it's going to attack the leftmost unit, meaning it's taking attacking with 4 for this Thunderhulk, which means that does change things, right? If it was a previous turn, that means this die would be gone. So unfortunately, I would not have been able to use Reconfigure last turn. So let's leave it at that. And we'll have to figure out a way to do it next turn. So I did not do a side action last turn in that case. All right, so that's that. Now it's our turn. We could do something here. So what we could do is create a power die out of the dice we have. So to do that, we can meditate as a side action. So as a side action, I'm going to flip this over and discard it. And then change this basic die to any face I want, which will be the power die. So I need to do a main action. If I don't do a main action, I'll end up passing, which means I won't be able to take any more turns this round. So for that, I'll do an attack with Systems Drafter. It's going to attack for 1 the Radiant Flash, and it will deal 1 damage to the Radiant Flash, and I don't think it does counter damage. I have to confirm because it's exhausted, right? I don't know. And then 1 damage with the Blood 1 into the Dragonborn. And I think we're good there. That was my main action, and then the roll a die. Actually, we have to remove this status token first and then do its effect. We deal 1 damage to the opposing player's target leftmost unit or the target Phoenixborn. So I get to decide, right? Oh, no, I don't. It has to be my leftmost, or if I don't have one, it'll hit my Phoenixborn. So this is gonna end up being discarded. Okay. And then now we'll check any other status effects. Nothing there. Now we'll roll. All right. So we have a dragon head, reveal, and attack with revealed aspect. So we're gonna attack with Dragon Rage. We're gonna get attacked by Dragon Rage. The leftmost unit. And then its Dragon Rage 1 will put a status token here. Leftmost unit is unfortunately my Thunder Hulk is going to be destroyed. And it can't actually attack, right? Because it's not charged. I don't think I can counter with something that's dormant. So I'm assuming I won't be able to do damage back, unfortunately. So that's that. Um yeah. And just to mention, because I totally forgot when I did the attack, when I target a unit, I have to actually see if the Dragonborn will defend instead. So when that happens, I have to roll a basic dragon die, and if a basic is rolled, the Dragonborn will declare itself as a guard, and the damage will go to the Dragonborn instead. So before, when I targeted one of their aspects, um, the Dragonborn would have had a chance to guard it if it rolled a basic die. So something to note for future. Um, but yeah, I think we're gonna just see on our turn. I'll play the summon Spark Drone out as a main action because I was going to place this power die on the Thunder Hulk that was out and got destroyed, so that it could attack, but unfortunately I don't have anything else to do. So that's my main action, using the summons Spark Drone, and now it'll be back to them. Because both of these are face up and they are exhausted, if they're not able to attack or do anything, they pass. So it's back to us very quickly. So in this case, I am going to do a Spark Drone Conjuration onto the battlefield. So I'll go ahead and place that out, exhausting it and spending the die. I had to spend a power die because I needed the class die level. Now I'll place a Spark Drone out. And this is a unit guard, 020. Okay. All right. And I think, will that be it? Hmm. Yeah, because I could take another turn or I could pass. I continue taking my turns. So let's see. I could do that. Like, what I'm thinking is I could put, um no, I don't think it's worth it. I could also use Issa's ability, which is to draw 2 cards, place an artifice die from my exhausted pool onto a card I control, but I don't think it will help in this case. So let's just say I pass. So now we've both passed. It's the end of the round, and now we do the recover phase. So the aspects will never recover. They don't have recover values, but if I did, I would just basically take off a damage for every recover value I have. In this case, it recovers 0. This doesn't even have damage, so nothing to do there. And then after that, we remove exhaustion. So each card that has an exhaustion token just removes 1. So if something happened to have more than 1, you only just remove one of them, and that other one would stay, or the remaining exhaust tokens stay on the card, which essentially means you may not be able to use the next turn. And then exhaust dice. So I will choose to exhaust these 2 basic dice. But say I had a power die over here, I could choose to keep it. But I will move everything here, and then now we'll do the dragon phase. So the dragon phase is going to be the first time mentioned in this video. So dragon phase cleanse means the dragonborn discards all cards it controls but doesn't own. So if I were to give it a card, or it takes a card into its control but it doesn't actually own it, it actually gets discarded. And now it gains status tokens for each face up aspect. So 2. So it's going to gain 2 status tokens. And you know what? The one here from before, just to, call it out, I should have removed this and taken damage. So let's do that. And I would have taken damage on, I think, Issa at this point. Okay. Because you just have to always keep in mind that the green boxes you have to do um, on your Dragonborn and on any of the aspects. And I always tend to forget. It's always a struggle for me. I don't know why. So after you gain the status tokens, you also look at your aspects. If any of them have require status tokens, you just refill it up to the what it came out with. And then after that, you replenish the aspects up to the threat level. So face down, I'm going to make sure I have 4 total. So 2 face up, 2 face down. And then we get into the progress. So this is the first time I would be talking about actually doing a progress, but now we do deal 1 damage to all opposing players' units. So 1 damage on the spark drone. And then it says remove this ready spell from the game, progressing to ready spell 2. So I'm gonna flip that over here. And this would be ready spell 2, and we would have this as the activation when it says to activate a ready spell. All right. And then you would continue to the prepare phase. In the prepare phase, you will roll all your dice that you have exhausted, organize it all as you would like onto the left side of the card. If you had cards in your hand, you could choose to discard them. And then you draw up to your hand size of 5. And then you'll continue to take your turns as you saw in the beginning of this video. But also the first player becomes the Dragonborn. All right. Well, that was a kind of, I guess, a lengthy, quick overview of a solo game of Ashes Ascendancy against the Dragonborn. I really like it. I think it's pretty simple compared to the Ashes Reborn Red Rains. The Red Rains had a little bit higher complexity, I think, with the ultimate cards and the behavior cards. Right now, there's only one behavior card. Things kind of ramped up pretty fast in that version of the solo mode, but this one feels great. I think the board, the board, the first board that they had for Red Rains, was more of a darker color, and I think this is just more pleasant to have everything kind of a light feel. I really enjoy the art in this, the kind of like the white backdrop and everything. So, I like that they came up with this color scheme for the board a lot. All right. Well, let me know what your thoughts are. If I made any mistakes and you happen to be an expert in this game, definitely let me know. Any corrections in the comments below. I do not claim to be an official tutorial maker. This is not really a how to play, but this is kind of how I always love seeing people play games that I'm interested in learning. And if I get the gist of it and I find I might like it, maybe I might make the purchase. So that's what this video is hopefully going to allow you to do, is decide if this game is for you. Um, and I hope it is, because this is a great gaming system. There's lots of replayability, ton of different options in terms of deck building. Again, this was a pre-con, so everything is a pre-built, but you definitely have a free range to build your own decks and test it out against the Dragonborn. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel. Every engagement point helps. A like, a comment, or even becoming a channel member is super helpful to supporting me in the channel. And I am so grateful to my channel members every month who help truly support the channel and also get to experience chatting about our personal lives. So we get to catch up every few weeks, and that's kind of my favorite part about having a group of people um, supporting my channel in that way. But as always, I hope you're all doing well. And thanks so much for watching. And I'll see you next time. Bye.